going to talk about branding, identity, and logo in regards to the differences and similarities. Logo, corporate identity, or brand. So what's the difference? When a company begins to consider ways to visually represent themselves, their product, service, or idea, these terms are sometimes used interchangeably. There are significant differences, though, and building a solid understanding of these three terms is valuable for everyone, even as a designer. So what is a logo? We explained this in the past. Let's go over each of these. A logo is a graphic element that succinctly and quickly identifies a company. It is a way to visually represent a product, service, company, or individual in a way that is memorable and briefly tells their story. It may be only an icon or emblem, or a logo type wordmark, or a combination of both. The company name in a distinctive type treatment, along with a symbol, emblem, or illustration. An effective logo is part of a successful brand and accordingly has been strategically created with the same positioning, tone, visual appeal, messaging, and story of the brand. Some of the elements used in logo design to communicate this positioning, message, and tone are colors, font choice, custom typography or calligraphy, illustration style, shape and style, and historical reference, all of which come together to communicate, for example, rich, organic, and home-styled, clean, corporate, strong, and efficient, or soft, sensuous, and luxurious. So the logo identifies a business or product in its simplest form. In summary, let's take a look at the differences between brand identity, and logo here on the infograph. So whenever you describe what brand is, it is the perceived emotional corporate image as a whole. Identity is the visual aspects that form part of the overall brand. And logo identifies a business in its simplest form via the use of a mark or an icon. How would you summarize brand, identity, and logo design? Let's take a look at the differences in regards to logo categories when it comes to an actual logo mark. You have standalone symbols when you're talking about a logo. These are symbol logos that are recognized worldwide that don't really need the company name. So they're very well established and recognizable. They have brand recognition. These are called standalone symbols in regards to a logo. You also have word marks or logo types, and these are examples of memorable logos created from type only, using different colors and font choice with the actual brand name written out as a word mark. You also have combination symbol and type in regards to different types of logos. And these are well-known typeface and symbol combination logos that go hand in hand. Corporate identity. What is corporate identity? So we explained what logo is. What is identity? A corporate identity is the bigger picture of all the visual and sensual aspects of a company. Logo design, stationery, marketing materials such as print brochures, and direct mail like website design, email, social media, online, radio, magazine, billboard, and display advertising, product design and packaging, employee uniforms, corporate signage, and vehicle graphics. A corporate identity program needs to address all these potential impressions made by the company. An inconsistent or non-existent application of the identity can result in a less than optimal brand perception. A style and usage guide shows how all these should be implemented, and if followed, ensures every time the company makes an impression on the public, the manner, tone, look, and feel is consistent with the established corporate identity and thereby supports the brand. You can see on this slide is just a piece of a style guide for this particular brand, and they're showing you how the logo should be used color-wise and also within printed publications. Then you have, what is a brand image? We're talking about brand as far as a perceived emotional corporate image as a whole. So we just talked about logo, we talked about identity, and now we're talking about brand. A brand image is comprised of every experience a person has with that company, person, product, or service. It's what you think of when you see the logo. For instance, the public's perception of the personality of the business entity. Creating a successful and appealing brand requires proper strategy, positioning, marketing, and messaging to appeal to a company's target market. Ultimately, a brand is formed by the audience, the customers, based on not just the strategy, positioning, marketing, and logo created by an agency, but the behavior, the ethics, and values of the company as well. When a customer feels in sync with a company, it is an emotional bond, a connection based on shared vision and values. A logo is not your brand, nor is it your identity. Logo design, identity design, and branding all have different roles that together form a perceived image for a business or a product. So again, just kind of explaining these three different terms. A brand is the perceived emotional corporate image as a whole. Identity are the visual aspects that form part of the overall brand. That would be logo could be included with that, stationery pieces, website, for instance. And a logo is what it is. A logo identifies a business in its simplest form via the use of a mark or an icon. Branding is certainly not a light topic. Whole publications and hundreds of books have been written on the topic. However, to put it in a nutshell, you could describe a brand as an organization, service, or product with a personality that is shaped by the perceptions of the audience. On that note, it should also be stated that a designer cannot make a brand, only the audience can do this. The designer forms the foundation of the brand. Many people believe a brand only consists of a few elements. Some colors, some fonts, a logo, a slogan, and maybe some music added in too. In reality, it is much more complicated than that. You might say that a brand is a corporate image. The fundamental idea and core concept behind having a corporate image is that everything a company does, everything it owns, and everything it produces should reflect the values and aims of the business as a whole. It is the consistency of this core idea that makes up the company, driving it, showing what it stands for, what it believes in, and why they exist. It is not purely some colors, some typefaces, a logo, and a slogan. For example, let's look at the well-known IT company Apple. Apple as a company projects a humanistic corporate culture and a strong corporate ethic, one which is categorized by volunteerism, support of good causes, and involvement in the community. These values of the business are evident throughout everything they do, from their innovative products and advertising right through to their customer service. Apple is an emotionally humanistic brand that really connects with people. When people buy or use their products or services, they feel part of that brand, like a tribe even. It is the emotional connection that creates their brand, not purely their products in a bite-sized logo. So some very interesting things to think about. As we go forward, I also wanted to share with you guys a website that will explain a little bit further, give you some inspiration as well. And this is from a site called brandfolder.com. So if you want to check it out, that's the website. And it talks about the 10 branding sites for fanatics to follow. Now this is kind of dated, but it kind of gets to the point. There's a lot of great websites in here that are up to date, one of which is one I pointed out before, Logo Design Love. But there are listed sites here, branding sites that you can check out. So it goes from 1 and all the way up. So here's Adweek's a great one too. You can definitely click on each of these and the website will pop up. Now these are obviously the updated websites, so you can definitely check out each of these and be inspired by some of the branding that is done and highlighted throughout these sites. Here's I'm Just Creative. It's a great site as well. And it shows you some interesting branding stories and articles to be inspired by and to learn from.